You know, we all have a map of the world in our heads. It's got countries, clear borders, all the familiar shapes. But what if I told you that map, the one you use to make sense of everything, is completely, dangerously obsolete?
Seriously, what if all those lines we've spent centuries drawing and defending are basically irrelevant to how the world actually works now? This isn't some sci-fi concept. It's the reality we're all swimming in, whether we realize it or not.
So here's the problem. We're trying to navigate this brand new, hyper-connected reality using an old, worn-out map. We still see the world as a collection of separate countries, but we live in a world that's one single, massive network. And this disconnect, it's not just an interesting thought experiment, it's at the root of so many of our current challenges.
Let's just put it bluntly. Our world map is wrong. It's a fossil. It doesn't show us the world as it truly is. And the craziest part? This isn't a new revelation. Some of the smartest sociologists out there saw this coming a long, long time ago.
And I mean way back. Think about this. As early as 1975, a guy named Niklas Luhmann was already talking about a world where there's no outside. He, along with others like Ulrich Beck and Cüneyt Tural, were basically the cartographers of our modern reality, drawing the new map before most of us even knew the old one was broken. So let's dive into the core of their thinking, which is this idea of the end of borders. This is really where that old paper map of yours starts to shred. Ulrich Beck said it perfectly back in '86. He saw that we were living through a change just as huge as the Industrial Revolution was. All the old certainties, the old structures that define society, they were just dissolving. A completely new kind of society was starting to take shape.
So, what was driving this massive change? Well, even earlier, in 1975, Niklas Luhmann put his finger right on him. Global, real-time communication. I mean, think about it. When a tweet, a financial crisis, or a new idea can zap around the entire planet in less than a second, what does a line on a map even mean anymore? For communication, there's no over there. It's all just here. It's all one system.
So, this radical new reality, a society with no outside, it needed a name. And the thinkers who first identified it gave it one.
They called it Weltgesellschaft, which is just German for world society. And the idea is pretty simple but profound. We're not living in a world of many different societies anymore. We are living in one single global social system. Our economies, our cultures, our biggest problems, they're all interconnected. A decision made in one place can cause ripples everywhere else, instantly.
Okay, so this was a really powerful theory, but how did it break out of academia and become, well, our everyday lives? The answer, as you might guess, was technology.
This is incredible. In 1994, before most people were even really online, Cüneyt Tural saw exactly where this was all headed. He said that once all our media became digital and connected, countries would stop acting like solid, separate entities. Instead, they'd just become information satellites, basically just nodes in a giant global network. Their value wouldn't be their borders, but their ability to process and move information. Sound familiar?
And let's be crystal clear. This isn't a theory anymore. The world society is the invisible operating system running in the background of your life right now. It dictates everything from where your phone was made to the memes you see on social media that cross every supposed border without a passport.
So if we're living in this new world with this entirely new OS, it makes sense that we need a new language to go with it. We need a new set of tools to even begin to navigate it. And that's the big question, right? If the old map is useless, what do we use instead? How are you supposed to lead a team, run a company, or even just make smart decisions? Well, you need a new vocabulary, a whole new lexicon for leadership in the world society.
This new language is filled with concepts that would have sounded like science fiction 30 years ago. We have to talk about things like artificial morality. How do we code ethics into AI? We need business anti-fragility, which isn't just about surviving shocks, but actually getting stronger from them. And of course, agile management and transdisciplinarity are essential just to keep up with the pace of change.
And the lexicon keeps going. It includes new mental skills too, like cognitive load management, just trying to sort through the fire hose of information, or ping-pong thinking, that super fast back-and-forth collaboration needed for innovation. And obviously, we need whole new playbooks for virtual collaboration and for developing leaders from Gen Z who grew up as natives in this borderless world. And this vocabulary scales up to massive, system-wide ideas. We have to confront societal-scale risks from AI. We have to think in terms of entire mobility ecosystems, not just cars or trains. We need people who are digital ecosystem designers. And we need to embrace wild ideas like reverse mentoring, where the youngest person in the room teaches the CEO how the world actually works now.
So here's the bottom line. Trying to lead in the world society without this new vocabulary is like trying to sail across the ocean with a map of the moon. It's just not going to work. Mastering this lexicon isn't just a good idea, it's the absolute minimum requirement for being effective today.
So I'll leave you with this to chew on. If Luhmann was right, and there's no longer an outside, if we're all truly in this one, massive, interconnected system together, then how do we lead from the inside? What does that even look like? Thanks for tuning in.